Welcome back. Tens of thousands of Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur fans will be making the journey to Bilbao for the Europa League final tomorrow. If you're thinking of heading out there, you might want to hear from this man. Travel expert Simon Calder joins us right now. Simon, thanks very much for joining us. There'll be lots of fans who'll be hanging on your every word. And there has been talk of strikes at airports today and tomorrow. So how will this affect fans that are travelling?
OK, the first thing is, Matt, don't worry about strikes. I've actually just been down to Gatwick to check things out there, absolutely running perfectly normally. And I'll tell you what, the plane spotters are out in force today because you've got almost a kind of Eurovision of airlines flying out of mainly Stansted Airport, the local airport in London for Spurs, and Manchester Airport. Just checking them out. All these airlines you've never heard of: Freebird of Malta, Trade Air of Croatia, Privileged Style of Spain have just flown in from Stansted to Bilbao. They're now going back out to Manchester to pick up another load of supporters. And I tell you what, if you want to get out there tonight and you're in the London area, I've just checked, and on the Spanish airline Vueling, there's a flight from Gatwick, 20 to 8 this evening. I've checked it out. £84 one way. And there'll be people watching you say, hang on, I paid 500 quid for my flight. Well, yeah, always worth waiting. Big problem is, of course, you get to Bilbao, and that's when you hit the very, very high accommodation charges. Just been looking, the cheapest I could find was a bed in an 8-room dormitory in Bilbao. That's £300. Alternative is nice boutique hotel, double room there, £6,300. So yeah, it's extraordinary times. And well, I calculate somewhere between 60 and 80,000 fans, split roughly equally between Spurs and United, are heading out there. So it's obviously distorting the travel market hugely, but hopefully they're going to have a great time, whether they're in the stadium or going to the very good fan zone by the banks of the river Nervion, where the whole park is going to be taken over.
Well, that is amazing, isn't it? So you can get out there possibly from Gatwick for a decent price, but once you get there, it's going to be very hard to try and find somewhere to stay, which is not ideal. Some fans, I guess, would have been thinking about other ways to get there. Is getting there by boat an option?
Yeah, there's been actually some pretty good deals going out of Portsmouth to Bilbao. Now, the vessel arrives, I believe, this morning, having been sailing since Sunday night to get to Bilbao, P&O ferries. Brittany ferries. Now, I don't know quite what it's going to be like on board, because the cabins got sold out a long time ago, so there would have been an awful lot of people who paid about £200 one way to get there. So, yeah, that was good. I very much talking to fans, there's just so many people who've been driving all the way down through France. Of course, you get to the southwestern corner, a place called Hendaye, and then you're only, an hour and a half from Bilbao there. The great thing is, if you take a car, you can also do something like stay in the beautiful French city of Biarritz, where they've still got hotel rooms for tonight and tomorrow night for about £100 double, and then just drive over. Again, a couple of hours maybe to get to Bilbao and the San Mamés Stadium.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. So the accommodation is the problem, isn't it, Simon? So what would be your advice then to any fans if they can get on a relatively cheap flight tonight, this one from Gatwick that you mentioned, which is under £100? Accommodation options, would you just take your chances if you're a fan and try and find something in Bilbao, or would you go to Biarritz, stay there and then drive?
Well, look, really, that fare of £84 is extremely tempting. But once you get there, you, I think, would need to leave town immediately and head, even if you just go to somewhere like San Sebastian, which is an hour away by very frequent bus, or to Santander, similar distance in the opposite direction, you're not going to get really cheap deals, but you might find that you get an all-right hotel room for £300, which is a lot better. Also heading south to a place called Vitoria in the Basque country, not too far from Bilbao. That's actually where a lot of the extra flights are going in. Ryanair's puts new flights in going to Vitoria for fans. And actually just been checking the numbers with a company called Sirium, which checks all the flights and where they're going. Number of seats to Bilbao and the area has doubled this week compared with last week, and that's entirely down to the Europa League final. It's going to be mad and wild and exciting in town. But honestly, anybody who's got any kind of sofa has probably already sold it for hundreds of euros. So I'm afraid it's a matter of leaving town, getting as far as you can before to find that the prices have come down, and then heading back in. But it's going to be very, very busy. And of course, besides the 60 to 80,000 fans going over from England, you've got an awful lot of football fans there. And guess what? I don't think Athletic Bilbao supporters will be particularly cheering United on after the semi-final. It's going to be very lively indeed.
Some very useful information there. So you can go to San Sebastian, you can go to Vitoria, you can go to Biarritz if you want and drive. It's the accommodation that's going to be expensive. Hopefully flights, if you want to get on a flight late tonight, you can get on one. Thank you very much, Simon.
Thank you.
Right, we've got everything covered for you today. Our reporter Daniel Khan is in Bilbao and Sunny Rudravajula is in Manchester for us. We're going to go to Sunny in a moment, but let's head to Bilbao first. And Dan, Tottenham have arrived in the city. How are things looking out there right now? Are there more fans in the vicinity?
Yeah, good morning, Matt. I mean, you were just hearing from Simon Calder there about, travel options for fans and whatnot. Well, I can give you a bit of a first-hand experience because I got to speak to a few fans travelling over from England over the last 32 hours who got a ferry from Portsmouth to arrive in Bilbao early hours of this morning. I got a coach with them from the port all the way to the city centre, a mix of Manchester United and Tottenham fans. And it's fair to say both weren't feeling all that confident ahead of tomorrow's final, but all in good spirits. And I think over the last kind of 24 hours, especially this morning, definitely seeing some more Tottenham and Manchester United fans along the streets in their shirts, and I'm sure by this afternoon, this evening, we'll see plenty more. But as you mentioned, Tottenham already here as a squad. They arrived last night. We brought you those pictures on Sky Sports News, and my colleague Domesh Sheth reported incredibly that Ange Postecoglou has brought the whole squad to Bilbao, not just the matchday squad, but also the players who are already ruled out through injury. Dejan Kulusevski, who had an operation on his knee, ruled out for the rest of the season. He's with the squad. James Maddison also ruled out for the rest of the season. He is also with the squad. So clearly Postecoglou trying to really bring this team together on what is a huge final to deliver that first trophy for 17 years. The interesting thing a bit later on we'll bring you is, of course, open training. That will be around 4:30 after Ange Postecoglou's news conference at 3:45. But I think in that open training session, when you're looking at who could be there, I think the big player we all want to see is Lucas Bergvall. Will he recover in time to play any part in tomorrow's final? He was so effective against United when they last faced each other at the end of February, and he's become such a key player for Tottenham as well. Pape Matar Sarr as well. I was at the game against Aston Villa on Friday. He went off with what Ange Postecoglou described as a bit of a back injury, but he said it was nothing to worry about. So also looking forward to making sure he is there in training a bit later today. But interesting for both sides, Matt, and as I said, look at where we are. I mean, we heard from Simon there. We got the beautiful Guggenheim Museum behind us, and I think I might do a bit more exploring a bit later on too.
I think you should, mate. You're a very cultured man, I know that. Get in that museum. We'll be back with Dan plenty of times throughout the day. Right, let's head to Manchester now. Join our reporter, Sunny Rudravajula, who is there. Hello, Sunny. Actually, the weather's much better in Manchester than it is in Bilbao. Who knew? What does the day look like for United then?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sweltering right now. I know it's a little bit cloudy where Daniel is, boiling here in Manchester. And actually, United are sticking to their usual European plan. So training here and then getting a flight over and then press conference in the evening. So they're starting here today. The players have been coming in this morning. We've got an open training session. Officially at 10, I think it might be more like 10:15. Then they're going to get on a flight from Manchester Airport. No convoluted journeys for them, of course. That's around 3 o'clock. And in the evening today, there's a press conference. Ruben Amorim will be having at Estadio San Mamés together with a couple of Manchester United players as well. So as far as the schedule goes, they're sticking to the game plan. Now, we've got open training here later on this morning, and United in this terrible run at the moment. Both sides aren't particularly in great form, are they? But United 16th in the table, 8 games without a win, and that defeat to Chelsea was their 18th defeat of the season, which is still quite remarkable to think of a Man United side that are in this situation. But of course, winning the Europa League would change the mood. I've got a list of players we've got to double check on. So Aidan Heaven came off the bench in that Chelsea game, so he should be one of those players available. Same with Toby Collier as well. But a list of players who we'll be keeping an eye out on today as far as whether they are potentially available to make the squad for the final. Diogo Dalot has got a calf injury. He's kind of racing to get back into that squad. Lenny Yoro's injured with a foot injury. Matthijs de Ligt has got a knock as well. So those are the couple there. Chido Obi, by the way, the young starlet striker, he's ineligible for this competition, with Joshua Zirkzee and Lisandro Martinez both out for the rest of the season. So that's what we're going to keep our eye on as far as open training goes. In the meantime, I'm going to find a little bit of shade here because really I'm getting boiling. Not the best day to be wearing a suit jacket either way.
You do that, mate. It gets dangerous up there. Manchester this time of year gets very hot. Get in the shade. Thank you.